The Valtari were renowned across the galaxy as the most peaceful species in existence. Gentle, empathic, and thoughtful, they valued harmony and avoided conflict to such an extent that they had no word for war. In their society, disagreements were solved through dialogue and mutual understanding. They had no need for weapons, and other races often viewed them as harmless, if somewhat naive. When the Valtari were invited to join the Galactic Conclave, it was mostly for their diplomatic skill. They were offered protective alliances by other races, given the assumption that the Valtari wouldn't survive long on their own if any conflict arose. Then they met humanity. The first human-Valtari cultural exchange was set up on Earth, and the Valtari delegation arrived curious but cautious. They had heard mixed things about the humans. Some said they were warm and friendly, while others said they were wild and unpredictable. The Valtari found humans to be intriguing, with their diverse cultures, strong emotions, and, above all, their ability to defend themselves with a fierce intensity. During the initial orientation, the human instructors gently explained that Earth, unlike the serene Valtari homeworld, was what the galaxy termed a death world. The humans shared their history, tales of survival, conflict, and how they had evolved to thrive in an environment full of dangers. But what struck the Valtari most was not humanity's capacity for violence, but their sense of loyalty, their resilience, and their fierce dedication to protect those they cared about. The Valtari, who valued peace above all, admired this strength. Their bond with humans deepened over weeks of training and cultural immersion. For the first time, they learned that protecting others was not incompatible with peace, rather, it could be a form of peace itself. During a training simulation, human instructors taught the Valtari how to handle defensive weapons, use tactics to protect vulnerable spaces, and navigate tense situations. They showed the Valtari the techniques they had refined over centuries to protect without cruelty, to use strength without malice. At first, the Valtari struggled, feeling out of place. But the humans reassured them, they didn't need to become soldiers, they only needed to be ready to stand their ground. It was around this time that news broke across the galaxy. The Arco, a brutal warlike species, had targeted Valtari Prime. The Arco saw the Valtari as weak, easy prey, their planet a treasure trove of resources for the taking. The Valtari leaders were desperate. They had never faced anything like this before. They turned to the humans, their new allies, and asked for guidance. "Go back to your world," the humans advised, "and let them know that you will not surrender. Show them that you are willing to defend yourselves, and will help you find the strength to do it." And so the Valtari delegation returned to their homeworld. But this time, they brought new ideas and training with them. The Valtari began organizing defense teams, using the techniques they had learned from humanity. They constructed protective barriers, and for the first time in Valtari history, they issued a planetary alert to prepare their people for what was coming. When the Arco fleet arrived, they expected no resistance. They were greeted by a Valtari council leader, who sent a simple, calm message. "You are not welcome here. Leave, or face the consequences." The Arco scoffed. They deployed their first wave of ground troops, ready to take over the cities. But this time, the Valtari were prepared. They fought back not with violence or malice, but with a fierce determination. They used every defensive tactic they'd learned, every evasive maneuver, every strategic plan. The Arco troops were met with a well-coordinated defense force that refused to back down. Though the Valtari's weapons were mostly non-lethal, they were powerful enough to repel the invaders. The Arco found themselves outmatched by a species they had expected to walk away in fear. The battle lasted 3 days, and by the end, the Arco were forced to retreat, humiliated. Word of the Valtari's stand against the Arco spread quickly. It was one thing for a hardened species like humanity to defend itself, but for the gentle, pacifist Valtari to rise up and push back an invasion was something that no one expected. They became a legend overnight. Now, when neighboring species saw the Valtari, they no longer saw a harmless, pacifist race. They saw a people with an unbreakable spirit, willing to defend their world to the end. The Arco Empire, in particular, learned a lesson they would never forget, that mercy and peace did not equal weakness.